How's it going, everyone? It's Caleb here, and today we're going to be talking about a video game on the PlayStation 2, a game that I consider to be one of the best racing games on the system, and that is Flatout 2. Flatout 2 is a game that I have a lot of hours put into. I loved this game as a kid, and as an adult, I still love playing this game. It has one area where it really shines too, especially if you have some friends over and you're in a party environment, and that is the stunt mode. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But let's talk about the regular racing first. The racing in this game is a lot of fun. It's demolition style racing. There's a lot of damage that can be done to your car and the car around you, the cars around you. You can hit people so hard in this game that you launch them out of the front windshield, which is awesome. And seeing them ragdoll whenever they hit the ground is pretty frickin' funny. I love this game. It's insane. The course design is great. I love the course design. You have some that are off-road. You have some courses that are through cities. You have just a great variety of courses. And a lot of the courses have destructible objects on them. And during the actual career mode, doing damage to the other cars, there's like bonus awards for that. Doing damage to the actual environment, there's extra bonuses for that. So they encourage you to try to do as much damage as possible in this game, and it is phenomenal. In terms of the car selection, you do get quite a few different cars to choose from. There's 3 different categories. You get the junkers, you get the mid-range, and then you get the high, price classy cars. And depending on which car you pick, you can go through 3 different type of careers. You'll start off in the more destruction derby style. You'll then go into the mid rank, and then you'll go into like the professional. Each one of them, though, you're still destroying the other cars. Your car, like even when you get the really nice looking car, it only looks nice at the start of the race, because once you start racing and you start hitting each other, your car is going to be just destroyed by the end of it. But it's a blast. I love it. You have a lot of Grand Prix that you can play through. Some of them have a lot of courses in them. In fact, I would say that some of these Grand Prix may last a little bit too long, if I'm being honest. But either way, the courses are so good that it kind of is okay. There's quite a few cars that you can buy, and to buy these cars, you basically can earn money through each Grand Prix, and through doing the stunt challenges, and through doing, the demolition derbies. And by doing that, you can earn credits, and you can use those credits to buy more cars. You can take the cars to the garage, and you can upgrade their, make their handling better, their speed better, give them more boost. You can do all that stuff, and you can really improve your car by just grinding a lot. However, if you're like me, you can also just use a cheat code and get more cash. And that's the way I prefer to play this game. I like using those cheat codes, getting my car fully upgraded and hitting that road just as soon as I get it fully upgraded, So that's how I like playing the game. Now, I do want to say one thing. Whenever you are going to buy a car, make sure that you have the color you want of that car selected before you press, the purchase option. Because I have never found a way to change the paint job of the car after you buy it. So if you buy a car and you have the paint job you don't want, you actually have to sell the car and then rebuy the car in the color you want, which is kind of an annoyance. And it's something that I wanted to throw on here just to kind of be like, hey, change the color of the car before you buy it, because I've made that mistake many times. Now let's talk about the stunt mode, which the stunt mode, in my opinion, is the best part of this video game. I mean, the stunt mode is amazing. You get to play a bunch of different style mini games. You have a bunch of different type of these mini games that you can do, and they're all a blast, especially if you have multiple people playing. And, I used to, when I had birthday parties as a kid, I would have everyone come over and we would play this for my birthday, because we all loved this game. And some of the mini games that you have is that you have bowling, you have this thing called Ring of Fire, you have darts, you have, football, and you have to kick a field goal. Kick in, quotations. And you have all these different types of mini games, and basically all the mini games have one thing in common. Whenever you're playing bowling, for example, you have to drive to the end of a launch pad, and you have to launch your character out from the car through the windshield and try to knock over all the pins using your flying character. And I love it. It is so fun. It is hilarious to try to control your character while he's flying through the air. They have a little nudge button that you can press too, and sometimes like you'll land and you'll forget to use the nudge button and you'll press it after you land, and your character will just like jump up after he's been laying on the ground for a couple seconds, which is I always find that kind of funny. But you can use it to your advantage, too, to try to nudge your character towards, more bowling pins, for example. Or maybe you're playing the basketball game where, there's multiple hoops and you're trying to get to the highest hoop because that one is, like, the biggest score. Maybe you use that nudge to try to get a little bit more airtime and stuff like that. So the mini games are a blast. I love them. They're so much fun. There's so many good ones. There's a rock skipping style one where you launch your character out and you try to get as many skips as possible. There's one where you're basically just launching your character into this giant net and trying to get as high as you can. It's basically a height contest. There's so many good ones. Like, I absolutely love them. And if you want to have just a great fun time with, your buddies and play a fun, split screen game, or not even split screen, but if you want to play just a fun multiplayer game, this is the one you should try out. This game is so good. This is like the best party game on PlayStation 2 in my opinion. It's so good. I can't speak, well enough about this game. It's so darn good. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that this game also has one of the best soundtracks in all of video games. Let me tell you, this game has Megadeth in it, has Rob Zombie in it has Nickelback in it, it has Papa Roach in it. It has so many different bands in it, and all the songs are great. It has Rise Against in it, Give It All, and it's so good. It's so good. It's like the best gaming soundtrack of all time. And I've played so many video games, and I haven't seen a soundtrack quite as good as this one. There's some that come close, but not quite as good. This one just has such a great variety of music in it, and I love it. It even has Wolfmother in it. I mean, come on. So, I love the soundtrack, and I had to bring it up. But yeah, this game is a lot of fun. It still controls pretty well, also. There are some instances where your car will start like sliding back and forth, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to get it to just stop sliding back and forth. And, there's some times, too, where you're trying to go around corners easier, and it feels like your car just doesn't want to, turn at all, and it just will slam into the side of a wall. So there's some aggravating things that happen whenever you're doing these races, but for the most part, these races are pretty fun, and it still controls pretty well. In terms of, if there's any issues in terms of the gameplay or anything, I didn't run into any issues replaying this. I didn't run into any performance bugs or anything. Everything played pretty darn well. So if you're looking for a fun racing game that has really fun mini games also, or if you're looking for a fun party game, or maybe you're just wanting a demolition derby game, because there are demolition derbies in this game as well, and those are a blast too. I love doing those. If you're just looking for a great car game that has tons of destruction, this is the one you should try out. It is fantastic, it is phenomenal, and I cannot recommend this game enough. Go try out Flatout 2. In my opinion, probably in terms of the regular car games, like taking out like the kart racing games, like the cartoony kart racing games, in terms of just car games, this is probably my favorite one on the PS2. I absolutely love this game. I love the Burnout games too, and we'll talk about those in a video eventually too, because I love those games. But Flatout 2 just has a very special place in my heart, and I love it. And this game isn't very expensive either. You can usually find it for around $10. So if you can pick it up for around that price, 100% do it. Go for it. It is worth it. This game is fantastic. It's even like the cars and everything in this game. Like, one other thing I want to say is that the cars feel hefty. Like, it feels like you're driving something heavy, because the impacts and stuff like that, you hit these cars hard. Whenever you're like ramping or anything, it doesn't feel floaty. Like, your car feels like it has some weight to it, so that's pretty good also. Go check out Flatout 2, guys. It's worth your time, and it's worth, playing. I'll talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.